Hello, Nagu. We got a day 8 here, Ephesians 2, 1 through 10. And something that just really stood out to me once I was going and writing all this down is just the division you've got right down the middle of this passage. Because, here, let me read it off. The distinction, or the difference before Christ and after Christ, what we look like. Right? And so, verse 1, before Christ, we are dead. Verse 2, we are following the world and following Satan. Verse 3, we are controlled by the passions of our flesh and following the desires of our body, and we are children of wrath, right? But then, if you look in verse 4, you've got two little words that start off the verse. But God. We were all these terrible things, rebelling against him. But God, being rich in mercy because of the great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. We were all those terrible things, but he still loved us. So, but God is cause for thanksgiving because he didn't have to. He chose to. And then after verse 4 there, here's what we are called. We are alive with Christ, we are raised up with him, and we are his workmanship. Before, but God, and after. There's such a great distinction in what we are and who we are. And verses 8 through 10, I would love to memorize that. They are just so good. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not of your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. And that brings me up to a little note that I had on that. Even though we aren't saved by works, it's very, very clear in the Bible. Even though we aren't saved by them, we are still called to do them. So just because we get our salvation through faith in Jesus Christ doesn't mean we should stop doing good things or say, oh, they don't matter because I'm still saved. No, God still calls us to do works and commands us to do works. And in fact, he even prepared them for us ahead of time to do them. And so those good works, right? Showing the love of Christ. I want to ask you, what does showing the love of Christ look like in your life? I guess you could just write me an email, but I want to know, what does that look like? What does showing the love of Christ look like in your life?